rose ceremony, the fantasy suites, holy matrimony. Oh, won't you please take this rose? Hi, everybody, and welcome to Buns and Roses, my Bachelor recap podcast. I'm Snax the Bunny, and I am thrilled to be here to break down the Week 5 episode of Matt James's season of The Bachelor. What? I'm going to introduce you to our beautiful guests right now. First, we have Semhar Kelati. Hi, Sem.
Hi. So excited to be here, Snax.
I'm really excited to have you here all the way from Los Angeles. Oh, my God.
Indeed.
Sem is an aspiring Bachelor producer. Is that right?
This is true. I have been a fan of the show, ironically, for my entire life, but seriously for the last 3 or 4 years. And I would love to produce this show.
Oh, tell me about the transition between irony and seriousness. What happened?
I think just one day I just started believing that, finding love in 22 days was real.
Yeah.
So I knew I had to support the show and get rid of all my bias, because you can fall in love in 22 days despite 25 women dating the same man. It's possible.
Oh my God. How to Fall in Love in 22 Days is like the title of your next book. I'm pretty sure of it. And you're a producer anyway, right?
I am, yes.
So
Definitely got stuff that cool.
So to be a Bachelor producer, that's like, you could do it.
Yeah, it's like the next step in my career. I don't know who to call.
All right, we got to figure that out. So if you know who to call to get Sem a job as a Bachelor producer, let me know, and I'll pass it on. Okay, next we have Regina Aletto. Hey, Regina.
Hi.
Oh, my God. Regina loves reality TV so much, she even briefly worked in reality. Oh, my God.
True.
I'm in reality right now, I think.
Right. I should have specified reality TV. I also work in reality.
Okay. She is most attracted to toxic heteronormative dating shows, especially watching them with Sem. You guys have watched some heteronormative toxic dating shows together, huh?
Yeah, it's deep. It's so good. I'm gay and I really get to live my fantasy.
So which ones have you guys watched together?
The main one was Are You the One?
Oh, what's that one?
Oh, it's on MTV. They just put the first 2 seasons on Netflix, and then you can borrow my Amazon password for the remaining seasons, or you can find them through other ways. Message me. I'll tell you how.
Oh my God. Okay, wow. I think I might have to watch that after The Bachelor.
It's so good.
Well, thank you so much, Regina. Welcome. And then
Thank
finally we have Kaija Towner. Hey, Kaija.
Hi.
Kaija is an avid reality TV watcher, and she's happy to be on. I mean, thank you so much. I'm so happy to have you here. Now, Kaija, please explain to us your Bachelor journey.
Well, I mainly watch reality TV to keep up with podcasts such as this. So I was in and out of The Bachelor and Bachelorette, but then I started back up in Peter Pilot, which was a terrible season to start back up in.
Oh, come on, but Barb.
But it hooks you in the way
Barb was legendary.
Yeah, she was like the best. She had the most personality out of anybody on the show. But mainly I'm a Bravo watcher. So I have all my Bravo lebs that I keep up with that I know way too much about. So that's I know too much about pop culture and nothing else.
I mean, you got to just pick a lane and go with it.
Yeah. This is where I thrive, so I'm excited.
I get it. And I'm with you. I love Bachelor recap podcasts, which is why I've stayed watching the show. And that is how me and Kaija got into the conversation about her being on, is that we both listen to these podcasts, and we've both had letters read on the same Bachelor recap podcast. And so we were like, oh my God, well, of course I had to have Kaija on.
I texted Snax and I was like, I just heard your letter. I can't believe this, because it feels like this dirty, dark secret. So to be you're also listening and you care so much as to write in.
Yes, I'm a big writer in of podcasts. And by the way, if anyone is listening to this and they want to write in, my email is freesnax@gmail.com. That's FREESNAX@gmail.com. You can write to me and tell me all your hopes and dreams and your thoughts and your hot takes about The Bachelor. I want your mail. Please email me.
Yeah.
I'm lonely.
I'd like to read those too.
I'll share them. Okay, great. So let's get into this episode. I mean, I just really felt like just out of the gate, we're not going to go through the beat by beat right away. I'd just like to get your overall thoughts on just the general things that happened in this episode. I think for me, I just thought that the first, little portion of the show was just so dramatic, and the music was so epic. And this is the part of the show where we lose Victoria and Anna. And I think that was my favorite part of the show on Monday. What did you guys think about Monday's show?
I mean, I loved it. I watched it last night. The format of the show has changed so much that you don't know where you're coming or going. And it feels like the show's ending like mid episode. And then you're coming, they almost do a season on and everything. So, we don't know when the rose ceremony, but I loved Anna and Victoria getting cut because they were funny, but I'm ready to not even that I'm there for the love, but I don't know who he likes or if it's real. I mean, he's pretty boring. I was kind of disappointed with his lack of personality overall, but we don't know nothing feels real yet.
Yeah. I really loved the roller coaster of it. Like you start out with this drama and then you're like in a makeover montage and then you're like ending on really extreme drama again. I was very satisfied.
It's true. It was quite a journey. It was very dramatic. And then there was the makeover moment. And then they go to a farm and there's a bunch of chickens.
Oh, yeah.
And then they make chocolate chip cookies. And then there's major drama again.
Yeah.
It's just insane.
I want to know, what is the creative process for these episodes? Are they let's just fuck them up. Let's just fuck them up. What? How do you go from here to here? It's just my heart, the palpitations I experienced throughout the episode. It's almost too much.
I've been saying that it's almost like they put all the scenes of a Bachelor episode in a paper bag and they shake it up and then they edit the episode that way because it just seems like Bachelor salad now. It's like, okay, there's a rose ceremony here and I don't know, here's a fucking one-on-one and whatever.
Yeah. This girl's going to sob because she's going to go to the kitchen to cook with him, but then also name drop a gold Benz or Bentley and then try to get the attention of a goat. It was perfect.
It's all so far from reality that when it's coming at you so fast, it normalizes. It's like the shock value of the last presidency where you're just yeah, no surprise. And then later it's what did she say? And they're digging up shit and I don't know.
Do you guys watch the show with captions on or subtitles?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
I think it's hilarious to just read what's happening because a lot of times it's what is that sentence? And last night I just thought, or the other night, Monday night, I guess, Victoria just had so many sentences that you almost couldn't believe them when you hear them and you had to read them.
There was also a moment where Matt is telling Anna that basically that she needs to leave. And had I not had closed captioning on, I would have thought he had said, I want you to go. But he really said, I'll walk you out. But it sounds like he says, I want you out. And I was like, damn. But then I read it.
I want you out.
That was so graceful.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was so graceful. And I was actually proud of him for doing that. And people are giving her accolades for even just owning her actions at all. But she was called out, but it was better than Victoria's bananas.
Oh my God.
I was watching it and I was like, did she call a human disgusting? To say those sort of words is so tone deaf this day and age. Whore, slore. I was like, whoa.
I know.
She's on the same internet as me.
So let's get into it. Let's get into the episode. It starts with this, cold open, and this week it's the moment with Victoria where she's talking very loudly about the women outside the door, and then we go to there's this the open of the show is the women are kind of going for walks around the Nemacolin campus. And it's, some of the OG ladies walking with each other and talking about how disgusting the other women are. And they're talking, it's just a kind of a silly scene.
I just can't believe that those girls think that being an OG or a second was anyone's choice at all. Like, this is just a random pick by the producers. If maybe there was a little thought in it, it's like there's no difference. It's crazy that they think that there's some sort of choice there.
Yeah.
Also, if he likes you, it doesn't matter when you joined.
Exactly.
If we're being realistic, you've spent a total of 15 minutes with him in the last 2 weeks. So do you really have a leg up over the girls that just got here?
I know, and how well do you even know him? How do you know how much you like him?
Exactly.
I mean, I can relate to the concept of like just immediately feeling like old news. Like, that shiny new thing is like, it looks fresher. You've been in the house, you've been having wine every night, you're like a little haggard and you're just like, damn, these like fresh meat, which like any of the girls, if they're mature, they should know that if he likes you, it doesn't matter if you spend time, like he'll filter you out, I guess.
Yeah. So then Brittany reminds us that, the drama last week was that Anna told this rumor that she is an escort, and Katie reminds us that she told Matt about that rumor and about the toxic energy in the house. And this is what we learned before going into the cocktail party before the rose ceremony. MJ says, let the varsity squad go in first when they're talking about going into the rose ceremony, which is really stupid. At the beginning of this cocktail party, though, Matt addresses the group and talks about the rumors. And he says, if you're having to belittle someone else in order for you to shine, that's not the qualities I'm looking for in my wife. And he has a lot of questions that need answers. And he pulls Brittany aside first to talk about the rumors. And we see the look on Anna's face when she realizes what she had done. What did you guys make of this whole beat of the show?
The first thing that from last episode and this one as well, that bothered me is that it her being an escort, if she were one, she's still allowed to look for love.
Yeah.
100%.
She's still a person. So it was just, that was all really shitty.
Yeah, it was pretty terrible.
Also, not to mention, I mean, I was a hot young server at one point in my life. And it's like, when you're that young 23-year-old server, bottle girl, whatever, that's like, that world is familiar to most of the women on this show, I bet.
Yeah.
The way that they're probably getting taken on boats with guys that they don't know. And I'm no shade. It's just like, don't pretend you don't know about those opportunities in your life. They're like young hotties. I am here to stand for Anna's hair, though. I know people hated it, but I
liked it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I thought it was fun.
Did she have a hairstylist come in? It was perfect.
It was like a Hailey Bieber situation.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
good.
probably her best look, which is sad because it's the night that she went home, but she looked good.
Yeah.
I mean, I did think so. Yeah, he does. After he pulls Brittany aside, he does pull Anna aside. No, MJ addresses Anna and says, that the house is not toxic. You need to figure this out and tell him something. And so Anna had Matt go off. And she says that she was, she totally knows what she did wrong and it was out of character, which is okay. And
we don't know if that's out of character.
I know. And but she seems to own up to it, which is okay, that's good. There was a point when she was talking to Matt where she was laying it on a little thick. She's like, it was the most selfish, stupid, idiotic thing. And I'm like, you're not going to get points the more you hate yourself over this. Just play it cool. He just was so graceful about it. What did you guys think about the way he let Anna go?
I really also agree. He was very graceful, but I like that she was already crying before he said he wasn't going to keep her.
It's like she knew it was coming going into it, and her face expression said it all the moment he talked to the group. But I think both of them handled it in the best way possible. I mean, I thought
it was kind of funny because in the very first episode, she was talking about how excited she was about meeting Matt and how because of that, she was breaking out into a rash. And then
remember
when
that.
she was leaving the show, she says, "I'm breaking out in a rash because I'm so sad." She should probably get that checked out.
That's not normal.
No.
Like, I look into that.
Anxious.
I do think like he is rather boring. There's not a lot of personality, like you were saying, but it's nice to see that side of him. Like that showed some integrity, that like not going to deal with that kind of drama. And I think she does feel bad, actually.
I thought it was interesting too that, I mean, I have problems with the word toxic environment and stuff because I think, it's sort of this blanket statement, but it was sort of this micro version of what is happening, I think. And where like, it's not even about me punishing you or giving you, like making you feel bad. It's about creating an environment that's healthy and like good for everybody and comfortable. And it's for me, he's like, it was almost like he didn't blame himself. Like, this isn't, I don't want to do this, but I need to create this environment, which I thought was interesting too. Cause it's like, wait, I need to put my money where my mouth is. And even though she's hot, I got to do this for the right reasons, sort of a situation.
Yeah. And I wondered with him too, because a lot of times when the girls are really needy and like kind of playing games,
they love that shit.
Yeah. He like tends to it. He's like, oh no, I gotta go. But it felt like I wasn't annoyed at him. It was the right move.
Yeah.
I mean, I do sort of think that he has shown that he tends to like the women who stay out of the drama. And he'll be nice to everybody, but the people he really likes usually have nothing to do with that stuff, Yeah, I mean, Chelsea does say to the group, like, she thinks bullying is kind of a strong word and that it's not a toxic environment. So it's like the language being used around the house is a little bit extreme for what's actually happening. There's just like a little bit of, comments
like
being said.
Instagram's captions, it's like this, like boundaries, keep people away. And I think that using those it's a good excuse to do a lot of things you don't want to do. Like, it's toxic, I can't do that. And it's also like very confusing sometimes.
Yeah, I think that is something before, even watching this on reality TV, the idea of cutting out a toxic person in your life, I think people use that very liberally. And it's just like anyone that they're arguing with or are at odds with is a toxic person. And it's like, that's not what that means, but okay.
Totally.
Yeah, but this sort of brings forth this sort of conversation of the OGs versus the newbies. And I thought it was interesting that it seemed like some of the women didn't know that divide existed. And they were, like Serena P. I don't remember which one's which.
The hot, like long-haired girl, is that what you're talking about?
The really short one.
Oh, yeah, okay.
She was like, "Oh, I didn't have any idea that you guys were going through this." And they kind of, and then Kit also apologizes to them. So some of the older ladies start apologizing to the new ladies. And then the other Serena is like, "Oh, I can't even explain the kiss assery that's going on." And she just does not like it. And I'm like, who cares?
Is that when Victoria apologized for taking her crown?
Yes. So that is when.
That was embarrassing, but the least of her issues.
I know.
Like, girl, you're going to apologize for that?
Yeah.
The most insincere Academy Award goes to Victoria for that apology. Like, sorry for taking your crown. What?
Yeah, it was not a real heartfelt apology. I don't think she felt bad about it. And then, Ryan thinks the apologies are a little too late. And she talks to Matt about how Victoria and her constant negative comments are getting to her. And then she tells Matt that Victoria said that she's a hoe because she's a dancer.
And we all hoes here, okay?
Yeah. Say it loud, say it proud.
Just the connection between dancing and a hoe and also using hoe as your go-to insult is so funny.
It's so funny because it really does seem like Victoria is a character from like an early 2000s like movie. Like all of her language is so like dated. It doesn't seem like she has any awareness that it's 2021 and no one uses the words like slut and hoe and I mean, probably a million other things that she said.
I know. And the juxtaposition of like her actually being upset that she was insulted, but like trying to not laugh when she's like, she said I was a hoe, and then starts crying, and you're like, yeah, is that even like, I mean, yeah, okay, it's fine. It's offensive, but it's really funny.
It's also funny, yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like she's trying to recreate Regina George,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
in like the worst possible way.
Yeah,
Like she's just not very good at it.
She's like the character in Mean Girls that they cut from the movie.
Exactly.
And so Matt pulls Victoria aside and asks her about the comment. He says, people's words are powerful. And when you said Ryan is a hoe, and she cuts him off and says, that was taken completely out of context. And he goes, like, I'm just curious, what context would it make it okay to call someone a hoe? And she does not have an answer to that. And that was maybe my favorite moment of the show.
100%. So good.
With his like straight face and his like tongue always touching his lips.
Yeah. And then, you know, this kind of kicks off this whole trend that happens for the rest of Victoria's time on the show, where she is completely delusional because she's saying things like, I make the house toxic. That's completely crazy.
Is she real?
I feel like she's an improv actor, and I think that she's just done a good job of scrubbing anything from the internet where
Yeah.
you could see that.
Yeah.
Because I can't believe that that's a real person.
You guys saw the Trump flag Twitter tweet, right?
I did, yeah.
There was like, it's like a selfie that she posted, but people zoomed in and it's like a Trump flag is hanging over the back of her chair.
Oh.
And it's like very unsurprising, but it's sort of like if she's a Trumper and she didn't describe, that kind of seems like her character would do that,
Trump.
but then
her character is Trump.
Yeah, it's like deny.
Yeah, she just says things that are the exact opposite of the truth. It's like she just thinks that if she says these things out loud, like, I'm the best person here for him. Like all of her delusional thing, like she is Donald Trump.
And then the switcheroo, like the once he cuts her, the fact that somebody doesn't find you attractive back means that they're like a jester or like an absolute joke, is like somebody not liking me doesn't have to be a bad trait of them, you know?
Well, that's because you're not Victoria.
I also am like dying to know if they could actually hear what she was saying when she was outside, or if that's just editing and they were like pumping that over the video. I need to know.
I know. I feel like this season, the editing has been really extra. So I can't tell at this point.
Hard to tell.
So Chris Harrison announces to the women that the cocktail party's over after he talks to Victoria. And then Victoria starts spinning out because he also, I don't know if it was the best idea for him to tell Victoria that Katie was the one that informed him of what, you know, because then of course she's targeting Katie, but maybe he knew he was voting Victoria off anyway and it wouldn't be a problem. But yeah, this is when Victoria starts spinning out, and literally there's no one in there he can marry besides me. Like, I'm literally the best option for him. I'm the only one with a working brain in this room. I'm not even being rude. I'm being serious. If he's going to believe some idiot over me, he is not my person. If that does happen, that really fucking sucks, and you know I'll be so heartbroken. I'm trying to be positive, but if that happens, I'll literally die.
Wasn't she was talking to people in the house, right? When she said that?
I think she was talking to producers.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's right.
And
This is the part where she was outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She says she'll literally die.
Those are the moments that I think that she's either like completely living in her character. Like it might be improv, but it's like she's really embodied it, like, you know, Joaquin Phoenix style, or it's like, I don't know.
When she's broken.
On. Yeah. It's just hard to believe somebody's real when they're saying such delusional things.
Yeah.
I know. And like, ever since she said she was a queen, it's been suspect because you're like, what do you mean?
And she just like really like plays into it. Like with the whole, he's not my king, he's a jester. And it's like, okay, girl, like we get it. You know about royalty.
Yeah. It wasn't like the first her like out of the limo gimmick. It's like she kept going.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, so then at the rose ceremony, of course, I was happy that he gave Brittany the first rose. That was good. And then when Katie gets her rose, you know, Victoria's voiceover comes in. Katie over me. Are you blind? Katie's disgusting. We've known that for weeks now. She's been disgusting. I thought that was such a weird thing to say.
It's probably hearkening back to the dildo situation, but
Yeah.
it's a cheap shot and it's not untrue. Also, I mean, like Katie's a local girl here, so I've been rooting for her from the start.
Yeah, what? Katie's great.
Yeah, she's so great. And it's like, I love knowing that Katie can hear that and be like, whatever. This
Yeah.
person's nuts, whatever.
Her fashion is so bad, though.
Yeah, it leaves a little bit to be desired, but she's a very beautiful girl.
Yeah.
Do we think that's what Victoria meant? Was she referring to her fashion?
I mean, Victoria doesn't have a lot of
Rich coming from Victoria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, when Katie's dressed down, like I love her like oversized hoodie looks and stuff, but
Yeah.
those moments she puts on those get-ups, I'm like, whoa, where did you even find that? Like, whoa.
Well, I think Bo, our previous guest Bo, learned that like her first dress on the show when she walked out with a dildo, that was like a thrift store, like $14 dress from a thrift store.
Oh, well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I dig it.
So I was into that. And then, yeah, Victoria's final blow before she leaves is I'm never dating another Matt as long as I live, ever. I hate that name now. So Matts of the world, you can celebrate.
Yeah.
So then we're at the following day. Chris Harrison comes in, tells the ladies that they're past the halfway point, and here's the first date card. It's going to be a big week. He leaves the date card. And my favorite part about this scene was as he walks out, Maggie just says, "Bye, Chris Harrison." It was so cute.
I think because some of these contestants now have completely grown up with Chris Harrison. I mean, they're like 22.
Yeah.
They revere him in this newfound way than contestants of old, you know?
Yeah, totally. So Rachel gets the one-on-one, and man, just such a princess date. I mean, she's got the chauffeur shows up, and he's like,
Who,
"Miss
I'm like,
Rachel, your
was
ride
he-
is here."
Quarantining for 2 weeks, that horse driver?
I mean, yeah, all these people, the whole staff.
Maybe they found Pennsylvania Amish or something. Like, what? She's
Yes.
so hot.
I mean,
She's beautiful.
she's so gorgeous, and I just think that they both like each other because they're both so pretty, and they've both never been in love, which is interesting. So Rachel and Matt, he says, "You've been so patient. Today's your day. I'm going to spoil you." And celebrity stylist Ty Hunter comes out of the woodwork, and I kind of screamed when I saw him. He looks like a member of Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem from the Muppet Show. He's just got a real loud look. And then, yeah, we get this shopping fantasy date with Louboutins and stuff. What did you guys think about Rachel's princess one-on-one daytime date?
She is a full-blown liar when she says she's never had over $40 shoes. Like they have done internet, there's TikToks about it. Like we know that, but also girl, like that just plays into her playing like this, like, oh goodness, I couldn't believe you'd pick me. It's so sweet, which honestly, I think the reason he's kind of into her, I mean, besides the fact that she's like Anna de Armas hot, is that she's out of his, like, I don't think he's gone for that type of hot girl before, like super blow the world away. And I think he's a little nervous around her. And I swear she's just like, he's cute, but he's hot, nice body, but he's not like, whoa. And I bet she's just like, she just is playing this whole thing very professionally, I think.
I mean, that makes sense considering that date was like kind of extreme in comparison to the other ones. And also when they kiss, it doesn't feel the same. It's kind of just like, from her.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the fact that his eyes are open every time he kisses anyone, we can get to that later. But
Yeah.
I struggle with this like idea of like, the Taylor Swift, which she does every time she wins an award. And it's like, this is your 65th award. Why are you surprised?
You've been the hot winner your whole life, girl. Like,
you're used to this.
Yeah.
But I also hate that The Bachelor does this style date every season because it's just so unrealistic. Like, I mean, if it's realistic, where do I meet this guy that's going to take me on our first date to go spend like $40,000.
He's also
Crazy.
probably a sociopath. Like that's not
Yeah.
normal.
Or she's an actual whore now.
Yeah.
Which again, love it, but that's not Matt's money. Give me a break.
Right.
Exactly.
Also him, I know he loves the turtleneck and a jacket look. Clearly the stylist was like, you have one look, this is it. But when he wore that like black and white matching outfit with this cream turtleneck still underneath, I was like, you need help.
He's like 6'5". I think it's hard. He's like,
I kind of felt like the
it's
only
fair.
time in that date I didn't feel uncomfortable because it's just such a weird, gross dynamic was when he was also trying on clothes. I just kind of wish that like they were both trying on clothes and it wasn't just like him sitting back and her being beautiful. It was just like, oh,
yeah.
okay.
When he'd be like, that one's my favorite. And I was like, I didn't need to know that.
It's very pretty women.
Yeah.
Totally. And which is about a whore.
Just back to whores.
Going back.
Also, I think like him, like shopping with a partner can be super fun if you're both trying stuff on and you're into it and like showing your thing to somebody is fun, but it's post-coital. Like you've boned if you're doing that. This is not like day one, like
intercourse.
Girl, let me see that cool Cynthia Rowley, you know? No. Like,
Do you think one of those was a Cynthia Rowley?
no, we wish. No way.
Question.
Yes.
Maybe we're going to get to that. Isn't that Kit?
That's Kit's mom, yeah.
Like making sure.
I told you I listen to only Bachelor podcasts.
Maybe that was part of the deal. Maybe that's how she got on the show. And she was like, here. You can have all my clothes.
Do we think Rachel liked any of the outfits or were they like too cool for Rachel? Or were they like...
No, I'm sure she liked it. I mean, they're really nice dresses.
Yeah. I think they were cool, but they were like that girl wants like the Hailey Bieber Yeezy sweatsuit. She doesn't need like more gowns, although maybe for the show she does, but
yeah.
Also the absurdity of her walking in with like 17 bags, like that visual alone, it's like, come on, you couldn't have fit like 3 dresses in one bag. She has to be like this.
Yeah, it was so cartoonish. So yeah, back at the house, the women are just complaining about time because that's all they do. And Rachel emerges with all of her shopping bags and she has to parade around the other ladies.
And then you're haunted by them being like, not the red soul. Oh my God.
the reveal, they were like,
those red bottoms, girl.
Is that the Louboutin signature? Is the red bottom?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, because I was like, how do you know?
Oh, it's like in rap songs, like red bottoms. I got a red bottoms. But who?
Oh my God.
The last time somebody wore a stacked peep toe red bottom was like when you wore like bandage dresses. I'm sorry, but
Those
like
shoes are so nondescript. They are not that great. Like they looked like very basic heels. Why does anyone care about that shit?
it's like what a guy does when he's like, I'm gonna get her something really cool.
Yeah, I mean, if someone got them for you, first of all, that's still dumb. But but buying that for yourself, like, save your money, ladies.
Sell that shit so quick.
Louise.
This is also really nitpicky, but like the pessimist in me was like, how does he know her shoe size? He like presents her with the box. I was just like, oh, so he just knows she's a size 8.5.
Girl, there's some PA or producer running out. Are you kidding me? What? You of all people should know.
That's what I'm saying. That's what like fully takes the.
He's like peeking in to see what it is before he hands it to her. Like,
And if you're going to be a Bachelor producer, you need to know these things.
yeah.
No, you're right. You're right. Correct.
Also, you know that girl has a comp card in her past. Like,
oh, for sure.
That girl's done more than a few like shoots for friends.
Totally.
I showed up first day and was like, here you go.
Yeah. She says.
So yeah, after Rachel parades around with her stuff, she gets this beautiful blue dress. She changes for dinner, and then the evening date card arrives, and it's a group date, and it's all the women except Kit. So Kit learns she's getting the one-on-one, and a lot of women are really tearful to be on another group date and not getting a chance to develop their relationship with Matt. I mean, I could talk about this later, but I was kind of surprised that Kit got the next one-on-one because to me, I don't understand why she's on this show. She's only 21. It's like, go on Love Island, go on something else, go on Bachelor in Paradise. But like a show where at the end you're supposed to marry someone, to me, it's just not for her. She's never really been in a relationship.
Well, it's interesting too that she talks on that date about like not wanting to be in the like limelight, hiding it, and then she's like saying this on The Bachelor.
On The Bachelor, and,
So-
we can get to that later. We'll finish up Rachel's date and do the group date.
Oh, yeah.
First, and we'll get back to Kit. So Rachel's evening date. They're at dinner. He asks her about the fact that she said that she's never been in love, and she talks about how insecure she is. And, you know, it's like, do we believe her? It's like, come on, she is just gorgeous. And I mean, I don't know. I guess you could still have low self-esteem, but it was kind of a moment where you're like, really? Okay.
How old is she again?
I don't remember her age.
I want to say like 23 or 24.
Yeah, she can't be older than 24. I don't
Yeah.
think.
She's so like, I mean, have you guys all heard the rumors about her like liking the racist posts and everything?
No.
No, what's that?
There's like a lot of pictures of her in native costumes, and then also a lot of pictures of her liking
Is it Coachella type stuff?
yeah, but I mean but there's like old Confederate flag shit. Oh, sorry, and stuff. And she
That's
also
nice.
there's a lot of girls that are like, girl, you made fun of me for liking black guys. How are you on the show and stuff? So
Yeah, I saw that one because that came out week 1. Someone called her out because they were a classmate of hers.
yeah, it would be so fun to watch a show and not know that stuff because you'd be like, oh, she's sweet, but to know that makes that put on even more like this. Like, I just have always been really insecure. Like, even if that stuff was vaguely taken strangely, it's like that girl's been like a cheerleader her whole life,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
I definitely think it's true that someone that age could feel that way, that it's like
Yeah.
scary to be vulnerable enough to fall in love, or you feel insecure that you haven't fallen in love.
Yeah.
But I'm not buying it from her.
No.
I mean, the girl has how many hundreds of thousands of Instagram followers that she had pre-coming on the show? I can't. I mean, yes, you can be beautiful and so insecure. I would never say you couldn't, but I don't believe it from her.
My
I
guess
don't
is
either.
she hasn't been in love because she's has like backup on back burner. You know, it's more
Right.
like, what am I doing? Like her, you know, girls are for the weekend, boys are for
Yeah.
weekdays, kind of a situation. Like,
Totally.
Yeah, and you know, she's still so young. Like,
yeah,
it's,
no,
it's
that's
easy to
fine.
say. Yeah, she's just, you know, kind of enjoying herself probably. And he says to her, "You've never been the loudest. You've never been the first one to run up. You're subtle, and I love it."
I
No.
hate him.
Okay.
And you're secretly racist. This is all making sense.
Perfect.
And then she says to him, "The butterflies, if anything, they've grown." And I'm sorry, no, they haven't, because butterflies don't grow. Okay.
They already did grow. They're a butterfly.
They were maggots when I started here. Don't worry about it.
But like at the end of this date, you know, they're basically professing their love for each other, and it's really,
Shocking.
it kind of took me back. Like, she says, "I want to end the journey by starting my life with you, even though that's crazy." And he's like, "Can I tell you something? I feel the same way." And then when he hands her the rose, he says, "Rachel, I'm falling in love with you too. It's scary to say, but when I'm with you, it just feels right."
Mm-mm.
And he tells the cameras it feels really good to say I'm falling in love with someone and having it reciprocated. And he can see himself proposing to her. And she says, "I feel so unbelievably reassured. When I look at Matt, I see the man I've been searching for. I've been waiting all my life for this guy, and he's here." And it's like, okay. Maybe they're picking each other because they know for sure that they're not going to end up together. And maybe he just really is too scared to actually end up with one of these women.
Like Michelle.
Oh
Yeah,
gosh,
because she's like
Michelle.
a real one.
Yeah. It's funny how you can tell chemistry even just from sitting at home on your couch watching people on these weird dates. But Rachel and Matt don't seem like they have any chemistry.
I found myself comparing their date to his date with Michelle too,
Mhm.
because I thought that date with Michelle was so good. And it seemed like genuinely like it checked all the boxes. And then this one just felt like he had already decided before the date started that it was going to go great. And he just was kind of, they were just kind of, they didn't talk about anything.
No.
At this whole time, I've never heard them have a conversation since episode 1.
With Michelle too, it was kind of cool to see somebody bring out like a more interesting side. He seemed like fun and happy. And when they were at the montage fashion moment, he like turned and did like a runway walk.
Yeah.
And she's like, "What are you doing?" Like he just, he just like touches her hand and leg and talks about how much he loves her, but there's like no substance.
Yeah, exactly.
I think she's the kind of girl that he's like, wouldn't it be amazing if I had this girl by my side?
Yeah.
Like,
oh, for sure.
From that first Chris Harrison meeting, like that guy is uncomfortable picking a Black woman, I think. And so he really wants a white girl real bad. And even though, is she the teacher? Is that who we're talking about?
Michelle's the teacher, yeah.
Yeah. She was like intelligent and real and funny. And like, I don't know. I just felt like that was an actual potential partner for him. And he's just, it makes him look young, like a young, like athlete boy who's just like, get me that swag, or whatever.
Well, it kind of speaks to his inexperience in relationships a little bit, because it's like if he had been through serious relationships before, he wouldn't just go for the shiny thing. He'd look for something with a little bit more depth. And it seems like, but I also think that she's putting on kind of an act. So it's hard to say.
Sam, why did you react so strongly?
I hate to like really just play into the stereotype of course, the Black woman is going to have a problem with what Matt said at the beginning. But I just wanted to know, like, who is this disclaimer for? Certainly not for white women.
Black women.
It's certainly not for men. It's exclusively for Black women. You are letting us know. And like, okay, but maybe just don't say that. We already can assess who you're going to pick based on the chemistry you have on the show. And if it's not with Michelle or another Black woman,
or Brie.
Fine. Or Brie. But leading with that, to me, I was immediately like, okay, cool. We already know. Thank you, sir. You've made it very clear.
Yeah.
And she is, why am I forgetting her name? Rachel. She fits to a T exactly what his trophy girlfriend would look like, I imagine.
Exactly.
Very beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's not for his mom either, that.
Celine Dion. Okay, so we finished Rachel's date. We are on to the group date, this farm group date. And I honestly did feel pretty bad for the women just watching Rachel parade around with these like glamorous shopping bags and these Louboutins, and then they're having to like literally shovel shit around and deal with chickens. That's a pretty stark contrast. I don't have too many thoughts about this group date. Just that MJ was being pretty extra, and that Matt drops into Piper's interview to make out with her for a second, and that was kind of cool. I like Piper. I think I haven't seen a lot of her, but that was kind of unexpected. We haven't seen their connection too much, so but then MJ sees it and she's shitty about it. And women are just in general talking about how hard it is now that they're 5 weeks in to see Matt with the other girls. What did you guys think about this farm group date?
I mean, when they get called on that group date, when their names are announced and then on it, my boyfriend and I were just like, there's like 400 ladies on that field right now. Like, who are these ladies? Like, there's just so many of them. And let me just look at my notes. Yeah, I just thought there was a ton. I thought it's also, I think, a little mean to, especially these ladies on TV, to like be like, all right, ladies, date. And then they get, these ladies are spending 2 hours getting ready.
Yeah.
Right.
They gave no warning.
It's disrespectful and it's a little sexist.
Fair.
You think so? Wait, why do you think it's sexist?
I think that to take a woman out of her element and be like, she has to be cool farm girl, just like no big deal. Like I'm like, can be a tomboy, but it's sort of this, if you're cool doing that, then you can do anything. It's the classic girl with football stripes under her eyes.
Right.
Cool girl.
Cool girl. Yeah.
Just being like, I love shit. Of course.
Yeah. And it'd be one thing if he was like Chris Soules, like a farmer, but that boy lives in New York City doing like TikTok workouts. This is not part of his like daily lifestyle. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they could have at least told them to dress for the farm.
Yes, completely. Let those girls put on their Daisy Dukes and their overalls, you know?
Yeah.
Or like tennis shoes even. Yeah, it's like, I don't want to show up my 6-inch stilettos and you want me to shovel shit?
I think someone should wear Rachel's Louboutins to the farming date.
Oh my God, yes.
I mean, imagine if that was like a one-on-one date in real life and a guy was like, hey girl, I'm picking you up in like 20. And then you're like, all right, I'm going to be chill. I guess I'll just wear like my white sneakers because I don't know what we're doing. And then he takes you to a fucking farm and makes you shovel. I would be like, pardon?
I feel like it's been kind of like, I feel like the group dates have been like extra shitty for some reason this season. And maybe I just never like them, but I also feel like they don't always have a point. Like, I feel like there's some where there's like a challenge and there's like a clear winner or something. Or like, this one was just like, go on a farm, do farm things. I don't know.
Yeah, did they even try to tie it in?
Like, nothing was, I didn't really know what the point was other than just to be like, oh, they're on a farm.
It's like when I'm thinking about this and you're retelling me, I'm like, oh yeah, I did watch that. But I was like, it's like you kind of phase it out because you're like, I don't know what was going on. And I think part of that reason group dates are losing control is because there's just too many women on these group dates.
Yeah.
If there were 6 and then like he could have little moments, that would be one thing. But
maybe they were collecting eggs for his date with Kit.
Oh.
For the cookies.
I like that. See, like that.
I like that too.
I just I want there to be a point, you know?
Yeah.
Also, you pick Kit and Rachel for your like queen dates, like the two already queenie princess girls. Like, give that date to Abigail, the shopping date. Give that date to like the teacher or like a front lines worker. Don't give it to like
the rich girls.
I know. Out of all the girls to take on this date where he spoils her, he picks a girl who's like basically an Instagram influencer.
Yeah.
And it's like, she doesn't need that. And other women would probably appreciate it more. I mean, we're not,
It makes him seem a little like tone deaf and like just, he's falling for the exact hot girl traps that they've set for him. And I'm just like, boy, you should know better by now.
Yeah.
But question, do we believe that he's picking these women for these dates?
Producer insight.
I just don't believe.
I think he picks who he wants the one-on-ones with, but he doesn't know what the date's going to be.
Got it. Okay.
I mean, I don't know.
That's true.
I do like Back to the Farm, thinking about MJ being like, on the group dates, you've really got to shine. And then it cuts to like the goat being like, get the fuck out of my face. That goat was not into her.
Yeah. So the group date was just a whole lot of nothing and some chickens. And then and they go to the cocktail party and he pulls Chelsea immediately and says, I have something for us outside. And she's kind of, I like Chelsea. And I actually buy it a little bit more when she says she's awkward around men or around boys, she says. I think that's kind of funny to say boys. And because I think he really does like the more reserved ladies, and I think he is attracted to her. He talks to Chelsea, he talks to Abigail, and Abigail opens up to him about, I thought it was kind of interesting that Abigail thought this was the moment to deploy a really sad story. Because I don't know, I guess she just feels like she's suspicious that she may not get the one-on-one. So I think she felt like this is her time. So she tells him this kind of heartbreaking story about how her father left her mother and, how she fears rejection because of, her hearing loss, because of what her father did, and talking about starting a family. And it's possible that her kids could be deaf, and wondering if that's something that's going to, she's going to experience rejection because of that. And that was, a really heartbreaking story. What did you guys think about this first little section of the cocktail party where he talks to Chelsea and Abigail?
On its own, Abigail's story is like so wonderful to be shared, to have out in the world. Like, I've never heard someone talk about it like that or share those kinds of fears. in regards to like picking a partner and like having kids and all that stuff. So that was really cool, regardless of her intention. I thought that was just really very nice.
It's true. It's definitely a story that has not been told on The Bachelor or anything like it. Yeah.
I think, like we were saying, regardless of intention, I think it somehow, yes, I think she was telling him to try and get her information out and remind him that she's there, but it didn't feel too thirsty to me. It felt like, I need you to know me and know all this shit and also remind you that I'm here and maybe a little bit of my sob story so you won't cut me up. But I don't know. It didn't freak me out or gross me out the way she was like unloading on him, the way that like when the guys on Tayshia's Cena's were unloading or whatever.
I always find these like super intimate moments, they're just so uncomfortable to me. Even with Sarah talking about her dad having ALS, and just like, you've known this person for 12 days. Like, I know that's the point of the show, but it's just, as someone that aspires to be on The Bachelor one day.
Wait, what?
Call me.
Hello.
I would never. I've aged out of that years ago. But years ago. But I'm just like, I don't think I would ever divulge that level of information to
You would
someone.
have to.
Yeah, you're right. They would be like, say it or you're gone.
I feel like the producers must be like, okay, for this meeting, what's your vulnerability? Like, I need to know what thing you're going to share.
I mean, they have interviewed these ladies, I think, and they have, like, I feel like the producers have
Oh, yeah.
all this intimate information about these women, and they're kind of going through and being like, hey, here, you should tell them about this, or like something. I don't know if it's
Yeah.
They're going to be like, is your mic okay? Okay, great. You need some water. Talk about your deaf problems and your dad leaving. Okay, great. Bye, honey.
Here's
That's
some
going to be you, Sam.
information. Yeah.
I thought he reacted well. Your deaf dad.
Need a shot? Need a shot? There you go. Yeah, take that. Okay, go ahead.
I feel like he reacted well because like he relates with the father stuff, but I feel, well, for one thing, I've listened to like in-depth interviews with contestants before, and these producers are interviewing them for years.
Yeah.
This is like, they get thrown into a pile, maybe not now because they're like 22, but they get thrown into a pile and they're gone through like, so they know like their fear of height, they know everything. So there's no accidents. But I feel like her saying that to him was like, he reacted well, but he's the kind of guy, this is about what I mean about like hot girl traps and immaturity. He's like, I relate, I understand dad leaving. You're so sweet and incredible. But Rachel's so fucking hot. Like, I can't believe she's here.
I think that's why I react the way that I do to that timing for Abigail, is that he has just kind of shown America, the audience, whatever, that he really responds to hot girl, very little substance. Not that she has to be sad. I'm just saying, like, as a juxtaposition, I wondered if that was the best timing for Abigail to go in with that, I guess.
He talks a lot about liking that type of thing, like seeking out vulnerability and like openness.
I think he wants to know. Yeah, I think he does want to know that stuff.
I think his heart and his his mind know like what he wants to be, a good person. Like he wants to be a moral person. He wants to be a good, but like he's still just a young frat boy living in a house of boys. You know what I mean? Like he can't help what his D wants. And I think that he's the kind of guy who's falling like on the shit shoveling date. Girls, this drives me nuts. Girls that are like, oh my God, a bug, a spider. Like that drives me bonkers.
Yeah.
He eats that with like a spoon, you know? And so it's like, you have to be really subdued and quiet. Like Rachel, you're never the loudest one, but also you can't, like, I was on Outward I flew to the Grand Canyon. I was the first to pack up my tent. Guess who got the least attention? If you're like capable in moments of that, he's not interested.
Yeah. I think that's true too. And then this cocktail party shifts a little bit, because then, well, he talks to Michelle and he reassures her, and I thought that was good. They had sort of a reconnection. But then he talks to MJ, and he addresses the fact that she's been called out as being one of the mean girls in the house. And one of the things I noticed when he was talking to MJ is that she makes her voice so much higher when she talks to them. She was like, I was shocked when someone said that the house was toxic. And then when he was like, actually, your name came up with that. And then her voice changed again. She goes, I lead by example. At the end of the day, I preach peace and harmony.
Oh, she's terrifying.
Oh my God. It's so crazy because I really thought night one with the pizza. I mean, I love anybody who's bringing a pizza to the party. She seemed like she was going to be kind of a fun lady. She had cool hair and a cool dress, and she had a pizza. And look, it's probably just, I was blinded by pizza. I'm just going to tell America that right now.
Rooting for all these girls wearing their hair naturally curly. I was like, yes, I love it. She's like cool looking. She's also a hairstylist. So please, I just am always like, hair and makeup people, don't be annoying and dramatic. Please, 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 please. And then I was like, dang, girl, come on.
I feel you. Anna's a copywriter, and so am I. So I feel you on that.
And our audience doesn't even know this, Kaija, but you are a makeup artist.
Yeah, not dramatic at all.
Definitely not, right?
No, but it's just like, don't be that girl that's,
yeah, so he confronts her about it, and she does her whole I lead by example speech that she says a million times this episode. And then Brittany interrupts, and at first MJ does not want Brittany to interrupt, and then he's just like, no, I'm actually kind of done with this conversation. And she is pissed, and she goes back out to the group of women who are waiting in the other room, and you know, she's like, you should be confident enough in yourself that you don't need to talk about other girls to Matt. And then she tells the ladies, my character was called into question. I lead by example. Basically said, oh, someone mentioned my name to Matt. And Jasenia steps up and says, yeah, that was me, because you're the one who's been saying this JV and varsity thing. And then MJ says again, I know I'm honest. I lead by example. And then Jasenia said, it's the lead by example thing that rubs me the wrong way. And that is the first taste of MJ versus Jasenia. Abigail gets the group date rose. What did you guys think about the rest of this group date cocktail party?
I loved it. Jasenia saying when her and Katie were sitting next to each other on the couch, it was like two people that I feel like are saying all the things you want to say. And then at one point, I believe she even breaks the fourth wall, Jasenia, and she's just like, we'll see when the tapes roll.
She officed it.
Yeah. The camera, it was
direct eye contact.
Yeah.
I was impressed with her. Yeah, it's like the argument that you wish you could make in the middle of the moment. I was like, woof, girl, good for you.
Yeah, I liked her in the beginning too. She had some good sort of sound bites, I think, in week 2 in regards to Victoria. And I always thought Jasenia seemed like she was a super cool chick. So I was happy to see her stand up to MJ, because I really turned out to not like MJ, even though she had a pizza.
Also, yeah, Jasenia, when she came in out of the limo, she's tiny. She's like 5'1", I think. Super hot, real cute. She sort of seems like what I imagine him wanting his wife in the fan section to look like. Do you know what I mean? Like, she's cute, small, like makes a home. I don't know. Also, she's the last one left on my fantasy team. So.
Also, I find that when someone gets like louder in the argument, it's generally when they're like, incorrect or lying. Like, she just kept getting louder and louder about how like my character. And Jasenia was just so calm and just like, no, it's your actions. And she was getting like heated.
When she was like, are you done?
Yeah. Yeah.
MJ, at some point in this episode, MJ snapped and became like the pull string doll version of MJ, where she said the same like 5 sentences over and over again of like, I lead by example, peace and harmony, you're calling out my character, da da da. Like, it was like she was just saying the same thing over and over again. It was kind of maddening.
And when has she ever like led with peace and harmony? Like, have we ever seen that? It's the hair.
The hair.
She's like hippie hair, like I'm natural. She's like, I live in Sayulita. You know what I mean? Like,
that's the only thing.
What was the popcorn line she said?
When she was like, you wanted me to fight?
Yeah, at the very end. We'll get to that.
Okay.
So now we're at Kit's one-on-one. And, again, I mentioned earlier that I just thought it was kind of surprising to me that Kit would get a one-on-one date before Abigail, before Who else hasn't had before Jasenia? Who?
Chelsea?
Before Chelsea. Yeah, like there's women who I kind of think have more long-term potential for Matt, and I was kind of surprised that this 21-year-old socialite gets this date. I just wasn't thrilled with that choice. I also just am not a big fan of Kit. She's just very young. And one of the things that made her seem even younger during this whole date was that she never stops talking about her mom. And I'm sorry, but and then also the background music when they were making cookies like sounded like a children's show. It was so twee. It was like
And making cookies.
We're making cookies. My mommy and I love making cookies together. It was so weird to me. It felt
So cookies are like the easiest thing to make in the
Yeah.
whole fucking world. It's not like you're a chef here, okay?
it was just some daddy-daughter energy that I was really creeped out by.
Well put. The thing about Kit is that she, I've heard from famous people that they have experienced life a lot quicker than a lot of other people. So like getting married younger is more natural, but she's not like Justin Bieber where she's like traveled the world and like slept with whores, back to whores.
Kaija, stop talking about horrors.
No, remember that whole video? But like she hasn't like experienced some wide range of experiences. She's gone to like prep school, I'm sure, which shows that she's like actually a little smarter than him in certain ways. Like she's young, but she's quicker. Did you notice that on their date? She's a little smarter, but not ready still, I think.
No, not at all.
Ready. Yeah. I also, this is kind of unrelated, but I loved the whole montage of him. Like, I spent the whole day cleaning for this date. Sir, they gave you a duster and said, dust this table.
For one shot.
You didn't clean shit.
I also love that he's like, she's really into fashion. So I really got to dress to impress. And he's like in a sweater hoodie. I was like, go stick with your turtleneck, bud.
And the primary color pillows on that couch are like my nightmare. It was like an IKEA living. Oh, so bad. And she's like, you did so well in here. I'm like, girl, it's a hotel.
Yeah.
Also, he didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Let's be real. He didn't do anything.
And she was just like, I'm so good at this.
Yeah.
She said that a few times, which was, she just seems a little arrogant. I know she's 21 and hopefully will grow out of it, but she did like name drop all those rich things she does.
Oh my God.
I Googled her mom's West Village house. They have a full blown outdoor pool.
Oh my God.
In their yard in the West Village.
She's not my favorite. I don't like her.
No.
Eat the rich. Goodbye, Kit.
I was like,
100%.
She's too rich. She's too
rich.
Like, I cannot abide. Like,
No.
I do not abide. Like, no, she already has all the things. She did not need to be cast on this show. You should have cast somebody else who was more ready for something serious. You don't need a socialite on The Bachelor. Like, no.
honestly, sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, like, you don't need like being rich is one annoying thing, but then when they're like rich and like a fashionista and have like one more thing to be like better than other people, she's been annoying since the jump.
Yeah.
Honestly, like there's so many fashion nepotism type young women and men in the world that actually do make a name for themselves, that do okay. They like have the hookups, but they do okay. Her mom must have so little confidence in her that she's like, fuck yeah, I guess go on The Bachelor. Like that's your best route to fame. Like your line is not gonna do well. Like
That's so good.
she has every connection in the world, and this is where she's at.
Wow. Now I feel bad for her.
I know.
I don't.
I gotta say it. I'm sorry. Watching them kiss was so uncomfortable. I was like, I overanalyze it, admittedly, but like, is her mouth not open? Is he on top of her mouth? I was just like, what's happening?
He's a weird kisser.
He's a very weird kisser. And his eyes are
Always open, and he does do every time on top.
But do you think it's partly because he's like coming in this way?
because he's so tall.
Yeah.
My mouth must go on top of yours.
It just looked like she was doing this.
Yeah. She's
And
a
he was
baby.
I mean,
Maybe
okay. Does anyone know the makeup influencer YouTube personality, James Charles?
Yes.
Oh
I
yeah.
think he
Yes.
looks like James Charles with a blonde wig.
Wait,
You
that's
know?
so accurate.
He's so familiar, and I have not been able to land on who.
Wait, that was spooky.
Okay, her mom, Cynthia Rowley, is beautiful and like kind of a Jennifer Lyons, and I don't think she should be a blonde. Her mom is a brunette, and it works, and she's fine as a blonde, but her mom, she's a natural brunette.
You know what? These are the hair types of tips we wish MJ was saying. Thank you.
I do follow MJ.
Okay. You do? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Be the MJ you want to see in the world.
Yeah.
I was picturing or seeing, what's the actress's name from Queen's Gambit? Like that's what I kept seeing, but now I see James Charles more.
I did see that. Yeah.
It's uncanny.
I do see that girl too, especially because she has blonde hair.
And she's also ice cold with like a very annoying personality.
Did they do anything else or just make cookies? I feel like it's a blur.
I think it was just like a night at home and they made cookies and then they hung out by the fire. So there wasn't like a different setting, but they were just there.
I would feel kind of bad if I didn't have like a 2-parter first date.
Yeah, like the activity and then the dress up change.
Yeah.
I don't know though, because I sort of feel like those like at home dates just feel so much more intimate and real. And I do think those are kind of the great dates to have because they can really picture you like outside of that setting. I think
That's
I
true.
think when you're like having a fairy tale date, it's just so fantastical that it's hard to tell. Like, well, was that just fun because we were like on a roller coaster and adrenaline happened?
Am I in love or am I just on a roller coaster?
Exactly. Oh my God. How many times have we asked ourselves that same question?
I mean,
Am I in love or is it just the funnel cake?
I love her. Am I just getting knocked into the mud off of a mud bike?
Am I in love or are these just delicious cookies? You know what I mean?
Am I in love or am I just tired and haven't had my phone for 2 weeks? I always feel for them when they go from the day to the night dates when they have been like hot tubbing and drinking champagne. You know, those girls haven't eaten in like 3 weeks. So they're like 2 glasses of champagne. Those girls are buzzed. And then they have to go home and like blow out their hair again and like, put that little shit on. I'm like, oh, it makes me feel tired.
That's so true.
especially the ones with like the hair that you know is going to take a long time. And you're just like, you were just submerged in water. That's like a 6-hour process you now have to go
for the black girls when they're like putting their hair up in the bun in the hot tub, you know, they're like, fuck.
I would be like, I'm not getting in. I'm not getting in.
And the fact that he's asking them to, like with his even wearing a wave cap at night, the fact that he's asking these girls to get in a hot tub, I'm like, boy, you have clearly not dated a black woman ever.
No,
I would bring all the hair. I would bring all the clip-on hairs. I would bring all the wigs. I just
a full wig, like an hour later.
Yeah, I would.
Like blonde.
Yeah, I just have a different color hair at the dinner part. And he'd be like, did you change something? Okay, so that is Kit's date. And then, so at the end of the episode, we learned that MJ and Jasenia are going to get a 2-on-1 cocktail party before the other women arrive at the rose ceremony. And MJ is activated. She says, big hair, big hopes, big energy tonight. Y'all want to see me fight? Get your popcorn. And she's just coming in hot. And she goes after Jasenia and she's like, this is embarrassing. I preach harmony and peace. I have never been more hurt in my life. I am furious right now. And Jasenia says that she has 3 sides. Who you are at the house, who you are with Matt, and who you are when the cameras are on. And I was like, yes, Jasenia. This is when Jasenia looks right into the camera and she's like, mm-hmm. And this is kind of where the episode ends. We end on this moment. You know, we're going to find out next time how it rolls out for Jasenia and MJ. But I don't know about you guys. I don't think it's looking so good for MJ. What do you guys think?
If he had been into her at all before, I'd be like, maybe she'll stay. But she doesn't have much ground to stand on. Also, like this episode, it's so strange. It's like referencing your hoops as to like anytime you lean on your hoops for your personality, it's just like hair. It's like, girl, like that is from 2008. I did that in high school. Don't do that.
She took it from a Kardashian who stole it from a Black woman. So it was just like the hoops, the hair, the hips. So I was like,
exactly.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
I feel like she might have had a chance if she didn't act the way she's acting. But it's like, clearly she's caught. Yeah. Clearly she's scared. She keeps being like, you're childish. You're embarrassing. And then there was like that. My favorite moment is when it went silent and Jasenia started talking and she's like, no, you don't get to talk. It's like, well, it was silent for a really long time. No one else was talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, but at this moment, you either apologize for your bad behavior, but you're going home anyway. You don't have a connection with him, or you lash out and maybe you get a villain edit, but you're also not staying with him. So like, how do you want to be remembered? It's like harmony or what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do love that there was like a very clean talking head of MJ earlier in the episode where she's like, let the varsity team shine. And then it's like, it's so good. She just looks so stupid.
The JV and the varsity. She's taking it so seriously that I'm like, ma'am, do you know you're not in high school right now?
And I want to know, was she an athlete or was she not an athlete?
I think she was, because did you see the like bride dresses running thing? She looked hot in that because she was like going for it.
Yeah, yeah.
And also these girls, they're like referencing high school because it was but a year ago for them. Like, I'm in beauty school right now. These girls are like, yeah, it's crazy.
They're like wearing their prom dresses as gowns.
Oh, their prom dresses were short. You know that's
true.
You know they were short.
Kit is like between classes, and she's like, I guess I'll be on The Bachelor.
Yeah,
exactly.
So that's basically the end of the show. So for the scenes for next week, we see, there's going to be more arguing between Jasenia and MJ. But we also see that this person, Heather, is going to be showing up as the next sort of dramatic surprise of the season. Is there anything else from the scenes that struck you guys, or is there anything in those?
Resident hottie, Tyler C's making an appearance.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We're going to see Tyler.
He's so hot, but they're embarrassing when they're together. The two things that I wanted to mention was there was a scene in this that there was some dry shampoo usage that was bananas, which I don't blame them, but they were just like, and I was like, yes, girls, got it. I loved it.
Wait, you saw someone spraying it on?
Yeah, it was like two girls. By the end of the episode, it was like 9 p.m. and I was drunk, so I don't know. But
it was the hairspray montage. It looked like. Yeah,
it was wild. And
it was like the pre-battle hairspray.
Yes, it was like yeah. And then like it was crazy. I liked it though, because you know that there's probably like, well, actually, in this series, I think there's like they each have their own bathroom, but. Yeah. The showering situations. Oof. And then the other thing I want to say that I still am frustrated with this whole franchise is the fat phobia is bananas. Like there's no even slightly thicker woman. We can go to of color. We've even done bi women, but like we can't even get a slightly thick girl on this show.
Yeah, there's no body diversity whatsoever, and there never has been.
And I know he's like active and fit, so that's important to him, but I'm just like that I think in itself is problematic a little bit, sort of like your value is upon your like abs, but that I don't know. That's just one thing that I noticed that really bothers me.
Anything else?
Yeah. I just want to know why Heather pulled up in a minivan. Wow. Why was that the vehicle of choice? Is that like the only production vehicle left? You know, like
oh yeah. They're in Pennsylvania.
Maybe.
She should have gotten that horse-drawn driver. I mean, he already quarantined.
She should have been like, take the car, go, I'll walk up. I'm not coming out of a minivan.
Wait, can I
be a slow-mo or something?
What would your guys' exit be? Like if you were to choose like vehicle, outfit, gimmick, do you have one?
Exit or entrance?
Entrance. Exit, I'd just be like sobbing, being like, I'm so sorry. I'm lonely.
I'm so unlovable.
I'd go butt forward for sure. I don't know know if it'd be a jumpsuit or what, but I would be like trying to get that butt out immediately.
Just full spinning.
I was like, what? I'd go natural, but butt forward, and then maybe like do a people pleaser of like a stick shift of some vintage car. Oh, I hate myself for saying it. I'm embarrassed.
It gives me more sympathy for them, for their choices, because it's not easy to do.
Mm-mm.
I mean, I would probably want to wear some cool like suit, but I also would not be going to match show.
Gay.
Yeah. Is she gay?
Okay.
I do like pizza as an offering. She's ruined it though. What if I brought my mom?
Oh
my God. No, I actually love that. If someone's like, here, I want you to meet my mom. And you just get it out of the way.
You're like, I'm in a suit. Here's the key to my apartment, and my mom's here.
Oh, and I'm gay. I'm on the wrong show.
We're good.
I want to see that entrance now.
Yeah.
When you please apply for the next.
Yes,
For sure. I would probably ask production for just like a full laundry basket full of puppies, mostly for myself. I just want the puppies to all be there.
that was
Sure,
good.
he can like see them, whatever. But I just would like.
Also, because
puppies.
then you go in the house and like the girls aren't going to hate you if you have a bunch of puppies.
Exactly.
I'm just thinking for my entrance because I think, less is more.
Mm-hmm.
What if I just rolled on the ground towards him and then stood up and looked into his eyes and said nothing?
Yeah, I like that a lot.
You could wear a bunny head and then those like sexy lace bunny ears on top of your bunny head.
Oh my God.
Hi, Matt. Find me inside. I'm a sexy bunny. Wow.
I'm into it.
Okay, so this is the part of the show where I like to go around and ask everybody who their favorite contestant is and who do you think Matt will pick?
I think my favorite is the person who I'd like him to pick, but
Okay.
Michelle is my favorite.
Okay.
And I also really like Brie.
Yeah.
But I bet he'll pick Rachel.
You think he'll pick Rachel? Yeah.
I don't have that's almost exactly what I would say. I think, I really like Michelle. They have so much in common and she just seems nice.
Mm-hmm.
But he's definitely going to pick Rachel for sure. I actually thought he was going to pick, what's her name? Not Maggie, the other one that he just let go this
Mari.
week.
Mari.
I know.
I was like, what?
I liked her.
Babylicious. And I was like,
Yeah, when he let her go, I was like, oh.
I feel like there's so many girls. I want to say the teacher,
Mm-hmm.
Michelle.
and Brie, but Brie seems like a million years ago now. I think Serena P. No, the tall Asian one. She's so hot to me.
Yeah.
And she kind of seems funny and has something going for her. Like I would choose her, but he's not even like interested. But he'll probably choose Brie or Rachel. Although Rachel, I can see her being the one who leaves him in like after fantasy dates, or like she's the one who walks away from him and then he has to pretend the other girl is his first choice,
True.
What do you guys?
She's going to pull a Madison.
Yeah, she knows that girl is so much hotter, or like she's like running this. She's not vulnerable.
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 What do you guys think is going to happen with this Heather situation?
He's going to send her home right away. They used that for yet another gimmick because they needed to like amp up Nema Colon or whatever. But
You think it's kind of like how they brought Hannah into Pilot Pete season?
yes,
Yeah.
Exactly. And I've stalked Bachelor pages. He already knows her because she's Hannah's friend.
Right.
I think this girl, if anything, she might represent some comfort if he falls for it all. It might be like, whew, somebody I know that I've done squats with, but it won't last.
That I've done.
It's a match made in heaven. We've done squats.
I just thought of something interesting. What if Rachel's whole play here is for Tyler C?
Fair. Totally believable.
I mean,
Wow. New take.
Wow.
Interesting.
I mean, it
I mean,
fits.
he's hotter, I think, than Matt. Matt's boring. And
Sure.
Tyler C did some cool stuff on Twitter about 100 years ago. And he dated Gigi Hadid, which is like, for her, that girl is status oriented.
Oh my God. She's already planning their entire Instagram future together.
Is Tyler C, is he single?
Tyler C, if you like moderately attractive, not fully in shape women.
If you like bunnies. I just want to thank you ladies for coming on to Buns and Roses. It's been such a joy having you guys here. Any final plugs or things you guys want to share with the audience to direct them to?
I'd love some work. So if anybody's hiring right now, I do freelance hair and makeup. So I'm not bad at it.
She's
and
great.
What's your COVID safety protocol, Kaija?
I got masks upon visors upon. I don't do that much makeup. I'm like, they look pretty good.
Can you do like one of those air guns where you just stand
I'm like
6 feet away and just blow makeup onto my face?
I'm like, you know what? I love a natural look.
You're like, you look great.
I'm really good at talking the art director into like natural.
Yeah. This was so much fun, and next week we're going to be breaking down week 6, and wow, we're already over halfway through this season, and I'm really excited to break down the rest of the show with you guys. Please, if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe to Buns and Roses on your podcast platform, and rate and review on Apple Podcasts and wherever else we'll take a review. We'd love that. Email me at freesnax@gmail.com. That's freesnax@gmail. That's also my Instagram and Twitter handle, and on Facebook at Free Snacks. You can find me there. These episodes drop every Thursday, and the video hits YouTube shortly after. If you want to watch the video, please leave comments and engage with me. And we'll see you next week on Buns and Roses. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Snax.
Thank you.
Take me down to the rose ceremony, the fantasy suites, holy matrimony. Oh, won't you please take this rose?